Welcome to Career UpRising. I'm your host, Lorraine Rise, a career and executive coach dedicated to helping clients who are 40 plus to break free from feeling stuck and transform into the unstoppable force you're destined to become. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, welcome to Career UpRising. I'm your host, Lorraine Rise, and this is episode 179, How to Land a Job Without a Single Application. So I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to tell you now it's May in Virginia, which means my allergies are raging. So hopefully it'll be okay and you won't hear some massive sneeze from me in the middle of this show or maybe even the next one. So hopefully I can get through these. All right. This is a rough time of year for me. I have absolute worst seasonal allergies. But anyway, other than that, life is good. And I am here today with a kind of personal episode, but also one for everybody who's job searching right now. There's definitely a message in this, but I want to share a personal story that I felt really just compelled to share with everyone because it's so relevant to what people are going through right now. And there's just a really cool story behind it. So I named this How to Land a Job Without a Single Application because that's exactly what I recently just did. And yeah, so that might be surprising. Let me back up, okay? And I'm going to do some storytelling today and some teaching at the same time. So it might be surprising to some of you, or not maybe, to know that I actually went back into the workforce. So if you know me or you follow me closely on LinkedIn, you may have seen that announcement recently. So it's funny because even career coaches make career changes sometimes, right? And I definitely did. So it may be surprising to some people, but also not, because for the better part of this last decade as an entrepreneur, I've often kept a part-time or consulting position of some kind for most of it, not all of it. Sometimes there have been periods where I've been just full-time in Career UpRising. And, but then there's been a lot of stretches where I've had a 1099 consulting role or something like that on the side. I'm just such a believer, especially in today's world and this economy, that having more than one source of income is almost the price of entry now. It's almost just required sometimes, and that's tough, right? But it's something I believe in. I'm always just thinking about financial security, and I also just love working, so I tend to have more than one gig. That's kind of how I've always been. But anyway, I want to say have no fear, because Career UpRising is not going anywhere. We just celebrated 10 years in business. I have a great tenured staff in place. I've also hired a new assistant very recently for the first time ever. And I'm not nearly as involved in the day-to-day operations, and I just don't need to be anymore, which is really cool. It's kind of a weird but exciting place for me to be. But we're still rocking and rolling. We're still better than ever, enrolling clients. So Career UpRising is not going anywhere, but I am freed up to chase some other dreams and do some other things. So I actually decided, and I'm going to tell you the whole story today, to get a job, get a job, right? And the job market right now is hell for a lot of people. It's been rough for a while, a couple of years. People are struggling just like I've never, ever seen before. And it doesn't matter what age, young, old, everybody, or something in between, everyone is struggling. It's been really, really tough. In fact, just this week of recording this, I had 2 people in my network reach out to me and ask me to help their new grads, their 20-somethings, right? Because they're having a hard time launching careers in this difficult economy. But I digress. The reason I want to share this is because the way that this job came about for me was so cool and so magical and just too good to not share. And there's so much good takeaway for those who are job searching that I wanted to share it. So let me back up a little bit. there have been a number of things pulling me back into the workforce over the last couple of years. But the bottom line is that in 2023, I just felt a shift within myself and my business. My daughter is growing up. She doesn't need me home all the time. The priorities that I have are different than when I started Career Uprising 10 years ago. My life is different. I'm different. So I have to evolve my career to align with that. Originally, 10 years ago, I really needed a way to work from home and make money so I could be more active with my daughter. I was her Girl Scout leader for 6 years. I was the secretary of the PTA for 3 years. I just did a lot, and I needed to be home and present for that. So that's when I started Career Uprising, and it served that purpose beautifully. But the truth is, I left the HR career that I had started quite early, after only a handful of years. I was only 31. I only had about 8 years of post-college experience. So now that priorities are shifting in my life, I have felt like I have a little bit of unfinished business to attend to in my corporate career. So I told myself, and this was 2 years ago, that I was open, really, really open to new possibilities. And that included a traditional job. All options were on the table. As long as it worked for my life and I was happy and making good money and doing something that used my skills, I didn't care what it was called or what it looked like. I was really open. And that mindset is everything. And it's the reason for the story that's about to unfold. And it's the reason why I got this new job so easily. Okay. But that's the first step. Okay. You have to approach it with the right mindset. If you want to do as I did and land a new job faster and easier than you ever have before without a single application, you have to set the right intention and have the right mindset. That will inform all of your actions and all of your results. You have to put the right vibration and the right energy out into the world, and it will come back to you. All right. So I just told the universe, I am really open to a career change. Show me what you got, basically, right? So I'm very happy to say that back in March, I started a new role as the senior manager of recruiting for a phenomenal small family-owned government contractor here in the DMV area. And I have a feeling I'm going to be happier than I have been in a long time. So this episode is step by step how that job came about and what actions you can do to replicate similar success in your job search. So step 1, you have to feel good and happy about where you are right now. Now, you don't have to like everything that's happening in your career. You might be in a bad situation, but if that is your focus, that negativity, frustration, toxicity, you're only going to bring more of it. You then adopt this toxic mindset and become jaded, pessimistic, burned out. Those things will get in your way. You're going to have to dig deep and find some kind of gratitude about your current situation. This is the foundation for making a change. From a tactical standpoint, it's pretty crazy how this job came to me. I honestly did not launch a job search. I did not put out one application, not one. In fact, they didn't even ask for, I finally was, at one point, was like, do you guys want to see my resume? I didn't even need the resume to get the job. But it's amazing and synchronistic and just indicative of the magic of the universe. When you have your thoughts and your feelings and your actions all aligned in the same direction, you're unstoppable. So last October, I got a completely random, although it wasn't really random, but it seemed like a random at the time, LinkedIn message from someone I did not know. This woman was in a similar space as I was. She had government contract recruiting experience. We had some shared connections, but that was it. I'd never heard of her. But she sent me a really kind message on LinkedIn, just wanting to connect. Something about it looked interesting. It was intriguing. I didn't know her. but it didn't look like she was selling me anything, which is good. I get a lot of those on LinkedIn. But I also just didn't know. I was like, okay. I mean, sure, I guess I'll connect with her. I checked out her profile and all of that. And I just really listened to my intuition, that still small voice that said, yeah, go ahead and reply. So we had a Zoom call and we just became fast friends. We traded recruiting stories and that was it. There was no agenda. There was no pressure. No one needed to do anything for the other person. It was the kind of networking that I teach my clients. No agenda networking. It was just about making friends. And that's what we did. We made friends on LinkedIn and nothing happened immediately and nothing needed to. So fast forward about 2 or 3 months later, when in 2025 began, and she got back in touch with me. And she let me know that she had lost her job. And I was really shocked. So we hopped on another call. And of course, just like any friend would do, I just looked at her resume and gave her the best advice and support that I could. I didn't really do anything for her. I didn't have a job lead for her. But we chatted again. Nothing happened immediately. It was just another touch point in our relationship. Well, fast forward again, 1 more month, and she lands a job quickly, which is incredible. But along the way, she interviewed with another company that she really liked. Not the company she got hired by, but another company. Even though she didn't take a role with them, she made a great connection with the hiring team and wanted to help them. And she recommended me without me even knowing it or doing anything, or I didn't have to ask, nothing. She gave my name to them because she thought I'd be a great fit just because of the friendship that we had made maybe 3 months prior. And one thing led to another, and I had phenomenal conversations with these people. They were terrific, and I got a job from it. Somebody else recommended me without me even knowing. This is how it happens. This is why networking is so important. This is why every career coach beats this drum so hard. The company that she gave my name to reached out to me. We had a discussion. One thing led to another. And like 30 days later, I was starting with them and felt so good and so right. And I instantly knew this is my path. This is my direction. This is the answer to what the intention that I had set out before. I followed my intuition every step of the way. And I knew from my first conversation that these people were different. This was not going to be some kind of toxic environment. This was going to be a really good match. It's amazing. All right. So here's what I want to do. That's kind of like the mindset, high level, how it came about, right? When we come back from this commercial break, we are going to get tactical. We're going to talk more about how you can make this happen. What actions can you take to make something similar happen in your job search where somebody recommends you and something just comes together so easily that you can't even believe it? It's absolutely possible. So stay with me. You're going to hear a little bit about Career UpRising, and we will be right back. Hey everyone, it's Lorraine again. While the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about some of the exciting changes that we've made at Career UpRising. We've unveiled some incredible new features for our clients. We have a new client library with extensive materials, including ebooks, worksheets, and videos to help you discover your value and land a new role faster than your competition. We also have an app. That's right, Career UpRising has an app for Apple and Android, allowing you to connect with me and get the help you need on the go. We've also expanded our curriculum and coaching techniques to make the program more effective than it's ever been. But these new features are just for clients. Let's take the next step together. Head over to careeruprising.com today. You can learn more and book a call with me. That's careeruprising.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn and subscribe to my free newsletter, Get Hired Over 40. I can't wait to connect with you. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, so there you have it. I made a friend on LinkedIn last fall, and within 4 months, it turned into a phenomenal job offer. That's it. Now, you can do this too. You can. Realistically, of course, I have to say it's not going to happen exactly like this for everyone. Of course not. Everyone's path is different, but you can absolutely increase the likelihood of something like this happening for you by aligning 3 things: the mindset and energy that you adopt in your search, the expectations you have, and the actions that you take. It is the sum of all of those together, and they need to be aligned. So you have to be willing to get off the job boards. You have to be willing to talk to people. You have to be willing to network and initiate conversations just for the sake of it. You have to meet new people. You have to expect different results. If you're not willing to do any of these things, it won't work for you. I can confidently share too that this is not something that ever happened to me when I was younger. It's only with age and confidence and more self-awareness that I realized that I can do things differently than when I was in my 20s. All I used to do was apply online back then. I didn't know anything else. The idea of networking freaked me out. I just didn't do it. I'm different now. I know better. Now I know that what got me to one point won't get me to the next. So if you're feeling stuck and in a rut, you might be using either outdated strategies or an outdated mindset that might have gotten you to one point in your career, but it won't get you to the next. Where in your job search are you using a limited, outdated mindset, but yet expecting a better result? Or maybe your actions don't align with the results that you want. That's very possible. Where in this process do you need to show up differently? For a lot of people, their networking is all based around getting a job. It's transactional and cringy. That won't work. Because then they throw their hands up and go, well, I tried networking and it didn't work. No, your networking sucked. And you made it urgent, like it had to happen now, and it had to be about getting a job, probably because you only network when you need a job. And that's the worst way to do it. That's why it doesn't work. That's not what I lined out in this story. That's not how we did it. And yet, ironically, when we didn't network to get a job, it resulted in a job. It's ironic, but it actually makes a lot of sense. Okay? The reason our networking was successful was because it was casual, it was fun, and easy, and that's how her and I both showed up and continue to show up for the relationship. In every conversation, there should be no demands on the relationship, just genuine connection. Those are the ones, ironically, that will lead to job offers. And that is how you can land a job without a single application. I am proof of what is possible, and it is not just me. I have had plenty of clients have similar experiences because this company, I didn't know who they were. I'd never heard of them, and the job was not posted. I mean, talk about the hidden job market, right? It can't possibly be any more hidden than that. How would I have ever found that if I had only applied online? I literally would not have. It would have been impossible to find it. This should be all the proof you need that the hidden job market is real. It's a thing. Okay? All right, get out there. Start connecting with people who have shared connections, shared interests, shared experiences, whatever it might be. That is your first lesson. Lesson 2. Never underestimate the power of weak ties and second-degree connections, which is what this friend was. I had just made this connection. We barely knew each other, and we'd still have never met in person. All we had were 2 virtual conversations, but they were enjoyable, they were positive, they were relaxed. We could just talk about our shared experiences. That's it. It still even blows my mind a little bit as a career coach how quickly and easily it came about. But it was the sum of all of these things, the relationship and my mindset. So who are the weak ties in your network? Who are the second-degree connections, that the acquaintances, the people that you need to get back in touch with maybe, or somebody you're just overlooking that you think, I don't know how they would ever be able to help me. Well, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I was pretty damn surprised that a job offer came out of this because that was not on my mind with this relationship at all. But that's what happened. Your next job may lie outside of your close network. So get out there. All right, there you have it, my friends. I hope that was helpful and inspirational for you. Keep at it. If you're in a job search, go to careeruprising.com, learn about how we can help you. We work with mid and late career professionals to help them change careers or land a job without an application. I will be back next week with a new show. Hey, it's Lorraine, and I want to say thanks for listening. If you found value in today's show, I would be honored to have your review on Apple Podcasts. It's the single best way to help this show be found by other listeners, and you'll earn some good karma. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you next time on Career Uprising.